A special type of warehouse are cross-docking warehouses. These are highly optimized distribution warehouses. In a traditional warehouse, we hold the stock and wait until a customer places the order. And once the order arrives in the warehouse, the items of this order are picked from the shelf, packed together, and shipped and leave the warehouse. So in a traditional warehouse, the customer order is unknown at the time when the products arrive at the warehouse. That means first the product arrives in the warehouse, then we wait, a couple of days, weeks, months maybe, until the customer order arrives, and then we ship the product out of the warehouse. Now, the main difference now to the cross-docking warehouse is that we know our customer order already before the item arrives at the warehouse. This is the main difference. And now we want to avoid storing the product in the warehouse at all. So we try to eliminate the storing, and therefore we require that the incoming truck, the inbound truck, and the outbound truck, the truck who takes the products from the warehouse, arrive at the warehouse at the same time. We need to synchronize these actions. And by synchronizing these actions, we basically unload the inbound truck and load the goods onto the outbound truck. Of course, to increase the efficiency of this process, we also redistribute the incoming goods. So for example, we have one inbound truck, and the products from this inbound truck are allocated to 4 different outbound trucks who provide service to 4 different customers. So we have a consolidation of shipments and truckload quantities, and we have a consolidation of single product pallets from different vendors into multi-product pallets. So let's say we have an inbound truck from Masoon providing Laban, arriving at the cross-dock. Then we take the Laban from Masoon, put it on different pallets that are sent via different trucks to the grocery stores. And at the same time, on these pallets, we also put many other products that are required in the grocery stores. Let's say vegetables, other dairy products from other manufacturers, from competing manufacturers, and put them on the same pallets. So we create from a single product pallet multi-product pallets. Here in the end, at the bottom of the slides, there are links to 2 YouTube videos where you can get a good understanding and good impression of how a cross-docking warehouse works. What are the advantages of a cross-docking warehouse? So, because we have less space and we avoid storing of the products, we can build a smaller warehouse, though we need less capital investment. We reduce our inventory holding. Actually, we want to avoid any inventory holding. Therefore, less capital is bound in the inventory. We need less personnel to deal with the stored inventory, and we have smaller product damages. So now, why do we have smaller product damages? Well, there's just less handling involved in the product, and the smaller the handling effort, the smaller the chance that something gets damaged. And we reduce our order cycle time because we try to avoid the storage time. On the other hand, there are of course also many challenges. The main challenge of a cross-docking warehouse is that a cross-docking warehouse only works when the suppliers that use this warehouse are highly integrated based on their IT systems, based on their willingness to cooperate. Yeah, so this requires a really strong level of collaboration. If this level of collaboration is not given and the trucks, the incoming and the outgoing trucks are not synchronized, then the cross-docking warehouse will not work. Other challenges is the facility layout is not really fit for operating a cross-docking warehouse. The information systems are not really integrated of the different suppliers that use the cross-docking. Same, we have a low-level supply chain integration and collaboration. Maybe the contractual agreements are in place, but the suppliers don't really live these agreements. There's not a strong compliance with these agreements. Sometimes although the wrong products are selected for cross-docking. When we go to the PDO example, for many cases, PDO will not really use or make big use of a cross-docking warehouse to transport the oil and gas products. For grocery stores, it can make much more sense. If the suppliers are not reliable, they don't deliver on time, then the synchronization will not work and cross-docking will fail. The same when the product volume is not high enough and when the cross-docking warehouse is not able to deal with a variation in the workload, in particular in the peak workload. Then everything will get stuck and stopped, and the warehouse will not be. We will not be able to run the warehouse effectively. When we're talking about logistics issues in our supply chain and outsourcing issues, then we have to mention third-party logistics service providers. Third-party logistics service providers are used by many companies, many manufacturing companies that are not specialized in pure logistics services. They outsource their logistics requirements, like warehousing, like transportation, to third-party service providers. And I'm sure you know all of these third-party service providers like DHL, FedEx, or UPS. These are the biggest 3PL providers. Of course, we have also many smaller service providers that operate in local markets with specific services, sometimes specialized on specific industries. So usually a third-party logistics service provider, 3PL, specializes in integrating warehousing and transportation and having these value-added services, for example, the postponement. And the advantages of using such a 3PL, they offer the logistics services usually for a lower cost, quicker service, lower capital commitment, business focus, and higher flexibility. So if you, as a student, decide to start your own e-commerce store and sell some specialized products, you immediately see the advantages of using a 3PL. You don't need to buy your own delivery vehicle to do the distribution to your customers. You don't need to hire the people, you don't need the permits to do the distribution. All this can be outsourced. On the other hand, if you're a really big player, let's think of Amazon. Of course, Amazon also uses DHL, FedEx, and UPS, but they are growing so quickly and they are becoming so big that they more and more insource important logistics services. For example, they operate a big fleet of their own jets to do the air transport of their products. Though the disadvantages of using a 3PL is that you have a lower level of control, and usually, in particular when you are, let's say, a medium-sized player, it is very important that your information systems are compatible to the ones offered by DHL, FedEx, and UPS, and all the others. And make the exchange of information really work. If this is not supported by your IT, then you will face problems in your supply chain.